Hi friends, I'm Anouk, Nook for short, and welcome to another Nook's Hooks vlog. So if you don't know me, I'm a crocheter. I mostly sell patterns and I'm the creator and maker behind Nook's Hooks. So for a long time, crochet has been my main hobby. It's the thing I always go back to whenever I'm feeling stressed, whenever I need a break from the internet, need a break from screens, I turn to crochet. Now, throughout the years, I have accidentally turned my hobby into a side hustle, which does mean that crochet is no longer just a hobby. It can also feel like a job and something that can give me stress at some points. Now, I still love crochet. It's still going to be a favorite hobby of mine. I just think it's time to dabble in some new hobbies. And that's where this new series comes in. This Cozy Hobby series is going to be all about me testing out new analog hobbies. And I want these to be hobbies that can really get the creative juices flowing and get me away from the stress of day-to-day life, away from the stress of jobs, away from just mindlessly scrolling on social media or things like that. Now, I'm actually Future Nook. The clips you'll see after this have been recorded about 2 months ago, which is also why I'm going to say I have a market or a con coming up in 2 months. That already passed. If you like those kinds of videos, go check out my previous two videos where I talk all about that. But I just had to get that out of the way. This footage you're going to see is 2 months old, and that's why that might not make sense. When I first filmed this video, I did not know I was going to turn it into an actual series of trying out new hobbies, but I have decided that I'm going to turn it into a series, and every episode is going to be a different analog hobby. This first episode is going to be all about learning to knit. And spoiler alert, I love knitting. I'm still doing it sometimes when I just need to put away my crochet work or need something to do that has nothing to do with my social media or anything job related. In the meantime, I've already ordered a cross stitch kit. I've ordered a quilting kit, and I'm hoping to also get into tufting at some point. And I think definitely baking or even cake decorating might be in the future too. So if that sounds fun, be sure to keep watching this series because I'm gonna have a lot of fun in these. These are gonna be videos that are just gonna be like sporadically in between my normal crochet videos. So I really hope you enjoy them, and I hope to inspire some of you to get away from screens, get away from day-to-day job life or study life or anything that brings you stress. So let me know in the comments below if you think there are any other hobbies I should try for this series, because I really want to try as many as I can. But without further ado, enjoy Past Nook. Well, hello you guys. Today is a very, very exciting day. You guys already know by the title of this video that I am gonna learn how to knit today, and I'm very, very excited about that. I've been wanting to try this for quite a while, and today is finally the day because one of my favorite Belgian crochet artists, handmade by Leonie BE, I'll put her tag down here, is organizing a knitting workshop. Now, Leonie is incredible. She is so talented. She knows everything there is to know about anything crafty to do with yarn. Like, she knows all the crochet techniques. She makes all kinds of crochet stuff, from like amigurumi to the most intricate large patterns. She does markets. She is able to knit really well. She has, I believe, crochet tutorials online on YouTube. I think they're in Dutch. I don't know if they're in English, but she has those on YouTube. She's starting with the knitting tutorials as well on YouTube. She does Tunisian crochet workshop. She teaches crochet to children. She's now doing knitting workshops for beginners. So very excited about that. She's also a dear friend and someone who often tests for me. So I'm very, very excited that she's doing these beginner workshops because I've been wanting to knit for a very long time. We'll see if I'm any good at that. I must say, like over 10 years ago, I did try out knitting and I got like this far in a scarf. It looked pretty bad, but I do want to be honest, I have a tiny, teeny bit of knitting experience, but I don't think it's gonna help me in any way today with knitting. We'll see if I'm any good, but I do want to take you along with the process. I'm gonna film a tiny little bit during the workshop, but I also don't want to invade anyone's privacy. So I will probably check back in after and then show you the progress of me keeping on going with knitting and seeing where I get, seeing how bad it looks, my first project. But I think this is going to be a very fun experience, and I'm so glad to take you guys with me for the experience. Also, the workshop is happening in my favorite yarn store here in the city of Ghent, which is KnitKat. And the owner of KnitKat is also a very lovely woman. Always have such long chats with her. I usually go in to get like a skein of yarn and end up staying for half an hour chatting. And it's also dangerously close to my workspace. So often I'm like, I need a break from work. I'm gonna walk to the yarn store, end up chatting with her for half an hour. So very exciting stuff today. You're gonna see a bit of the yarn store that I love going to. You're gonna be seeing a bit of Leonie and well, that is if she allows me to film her. We'll see about that. But all very exciting stuff and I can't wait, and I'm so glad you guys are joining me. And with that, the next clip will probably be when I'm at the workshop because it's starting in 40 minutes and I have to leave soon. So time to see if I'm any good.
Dat is een 6 millimeter inderdaad. Dat is te dik, dat gaat te dik zijn voor de want die gaat van de begin al verder.
Dus het kan en is.
Ja, zo een klein juweeltje. Zij is opnames aan het maken, maar er in geen geval wordt iemand op beeld gezet vandaag. Enkel ik.
Zo op YouTube of wat?
Ja.
Ja.
Maar ze zetten op al brei en het is dan niet moeilijk eigenlijk.
Een onderhand ook
Ja,
gecreëerd.
dat is goed.
Ja, waarom
Bij mij
is
is het
dat?
niet goed dan.
Eerst en vooral gaan we de eerste stap. Dus je hebt dat misschien herkennen van het internet. Zo, stab it.
Ja.
Strangle it. Ja, dat is dat dus. Dus we gaan eerst stab it.
Nee, zo.
Zo, voilà, perfect. Dus eigenlijk, hup, erover, dat is de strangle it. Dan zeggen ze scoop out its guts, dat wil zeggen doorhalen. Je gaat die lus... Nu, een eerste steek is altijd een losse vlodder,
Ah ja,
omdat
oké.
je hem juist hebt opgezet. Je kunt er natuurlijk een keer aan... Ik zit vast.
Ik heb er eentje verloren, denk ik.
Oh no, ja, dat kan. Dat is inderdaad één.
Ja, maar dat-
Nee, ik ga het eruit
Dan
halen.
moet je eerst weten als
Ik ben me echt super hard aan het amuseren.
Oh, oké. Ah, wel, dat is een techniek dat ik een keer ga
jij hebt
uittesten
alleen
hierop.
extra opgezet.
Ik heb alleen extra, dus jij hoeft niks te doen.
Ik moet nog
De
één
rest nog
opzetten, maar
één
geen
extra.
shot.
Dus je hebt de achterste, die trekt je volledig uit.
Die met die draadjes.
Ja, waar dat je eindjes aan vasthangen, die
Ja.
trekt je uit.
Zo.
En die brengt je naar voren. En dan moet je alleen nog juist hier één
Nee,
extra
rechts,
vasten.
ja.
Voilà. En dan zijn we weer weg.
Hi friends, I am back from the really fun workshop, and I just quickly wanted to check in to do a little review of the workshop. So I did knit quite a bit. For 3 hours of knitting, I did not knit quite a bit, but well, so this is everything I got done. Now, there's a lot to see here. So we started with just doing a standard, I don't know the names of the stitches, but like only doing one side, one specific type of stitch back and forth, so that you get this texture. Then we change it to the stitch where you slightly change your stitch in between going that way and going that way so that you get a nice texture. But then we soon realized that I kept wanting to hold my yarn in my left hand, while with knitting you're supposed to hold it in your right hand. And I hold it in my left hand because with crochet I always hold it in my left hand. Apparently that's a thing called continental knitting, and Leonie, who does not do continental knitting, was kind enough to teach me continental knitting by watching videos together and helping me out on where the yarn has to go and everything. So if you don't, I'm not going to explain this well because I don't know the terms of knitting, but in one direction, continental knitting was like second nature for me. It went super easy, but when I had to go in the other direction, it got quite hard, and that's where I needed to really practice on it. So here you can see where I started doing well, first off, these rounds I did with normal knitting. Then from here, I did continental knitting on the side that felt good for me, and on the other side, I did normal knitting. And then here I did a round of switching every 2 stitches, and then the last couple rounds, I did continental knitting in both sides. And I got it down. It's a bit tedious, but I think in the long run, it's going to be much easier for me because I'm going to try to explain this for the non-knitters. With normal knitting, you take your yarn and you loop it over the hook. I mean, if you're an advanced knitter, you probably can, like, with your finger, loop it over. But that movement it takes quite a bit of time, in my opinion. But with continental knitting, I have it on my other hand, and with, like, the same with crochet, I can just, like, kind of leave it there and just move this one around to, like, grab it without having to, like, take the yarn and loop it around. And also when switching from one side to the other, it's a lot easier to switch with continental knitting. This is also something that Leonie told me during the workshop. And the other people that were there, all had some knitting experience, and a lot of them were like, I wish I had learned continental knitting when I started, because it's hard to switch after a while. So we decided that I would learn continental knitting instead, and I've been really enjoying it. And I mean, the rows don't look the best because I was practicing some stuff. And here is that round of switching, and then it got a little bad because I was trying to learn continental knitting in the opposite direction, which was a bit hard, but I got there in the end, and I very much enjoyed it. Now I still need to practice quite a bit, so I think I'm just gonna keep going on this little rag of yarn and seeing where I get, so that I really get the technique down. And then I will probably use some of Leonie's YouTube tutorials to continue the learning process. Now, Leonie is an incredible teacher. I don't think I've ever, like, gotten the hang of anything as fast as I did with Leonie teaching me. Like, the cast on, so clear. She explained it so clearly in a minute, and then bam, I did the cast on. Doing the stitches, she explained it to me in 2 minutes. Bam, I did a whole row of stitches. Her explanation is so well. She's a teacher, so she, like, really knows how to explain things, and explain them to kids as well, which really helps when you're, like, really a beginner in something. So amazing, amazing teacher. Her YouTube videos are amazing as well. Of course, they're only in Dutch, but there may be a small chance that in the far future she does them in English as well. So I guess you guys are all gonna have to go follow her over on Instagram and on YouTube so that she can expand her English speaking following, and then maybe be convinced to finally upload some English tutorials as well. So I have some dinner plans tonight, so I will not be continuing this, but I will probably see you whenever I decide to pick up my needles again. I'm so used to saying hook, but no, needles. Hey friends, it's now 2 days later. It's Tuesday. The knitting workshop was on Monday, and I did do quite a bit of work. I've done some practicing on just little rag of fabric, I would call it now. Here it is. So here I practiced some more on the continental knitting technique, and there's like a few inconsistencies in there, but it got pretty good. Then here I did a practice of a cuff, so switching between front and back. I don't know the terms in English yet. I'm gonna have to look those up. But switching between front and back every 2 stitches. And then I went back to just practicing continental knitting. So, and it's starting to look pretty consistent. So I think it's about time that I try to pick up an easy project. Leonie recommended trying like a hat or something. So I think that's indeed what I'll be doing. But those who follow me on YouTube for a while know I have a market, a con coming up on the 1st of April or somewhere around the start of April. And there have been no market prep videos for the past 2 months. And I definitely had a whole list of plushies I had to make for that con. So I think it's time to put this one down for a bit and really prep for that market now. I think knitting is gonna be my wind down projects in the evening, while during the day it's gonna be more of a market prep time. So I think for a hat I might need other yarn that's like a bit thicker and also bigger needles, so I might need to head to the yarn store again, and I might take you guys along with me. But that's not gonna be today because it's raining so bad outside right now, so I'm not gonna jump on my bike. And also I need to market prep. So you'll see me in a second and I'll see you in the far future. Well, hello friends. I was finally able to go by the yarn store and get the supplies I need for an actual knitting project. I decided to go for the chunky knit beanie, I believe it's called, something like that, by Passionate Kelsey. I'm sure anyone watching this video knows who Passionate Kelsey is. She's a very famous crochet knitting YouTuber. I chose her project because it uses really chunky yarn. You can either double strand it or single strand it. I chose to single strand because I'm still a beginner. And I got the supplies for it. I went for a wool called Wool Addict by Lang Yarns. It is a size medium. Does not say the weight on there. But anyway, the lovely owner of the yarn store helped me out by picking the yarn that would be good for this project, as well as the knitting needles. So for the knitting needles, I got these really pretty wooden needles that can work with a cable, and they are 8mm needles, and they are like colored wood. So very cute. Let's have a look at them. See how pretty they are? Very cute. And then we also got a cable. And again, I just used whatever Passionate Kelsey's pattern said to use. Ta-da! The needles are ready to go. Now I am going to start up a Leonie's video again on how to cast on, because I don't remember. It was very easy in the workshop, so I'm sure it's going to be very easy again now.
Ga je over die laatst gemaakte losmaak. Dus je gaat er overhalen. En als je dat gedaan hebt, dan mag je die loslaten met je doen. Als je dan rustig aan je eindjes trekt, dan maak je op die manier een steek. En doordat je die steek gaat aanspannen, zet je automatisch jouw vingers klaar om de volgende steek op te zetten.
But I really like this shape. I'm very obsessed with it, so I definitely want to reorder some of that.
Okay, it is time for a little update. I'm not sure what the best method is to holding this, but this is where we are. 20 minutes in. Not too bad. We'll see if it's gonna like actually fit on my head. I'm thinking it will because it's super stretchy. So far, I'm having a great time with it. The only little mess up is like, this is the where I joined the ring, so it looks like super stretchy. And I'm hoping that's just gonna get better as I go along. And if not, I'm just gonna weave some stitches in there at the end to make it more tight. But overall, very, very pleased with how it's going. Yeah, enjoying it. Definitely gonna keep knitting. I have to get ready for a workout class now, so I am going to put down my knitting needles. I will be continuing knitting in the sofa and things like that. I won't update you quite often on this because I am just making a long tube right now. I will, however, definitely update you when I start decreasing because I've never decreased before. So we'll see how that goes. So with that, I will see you whenever I see you. Hi friends. It has been a hot minute since I filmed for this video. I think my last update was I'm gonna make a beanie by Passionate Kelsey. I did that. I made the whole tube. Keep in mind, this pattern is doing the same thing for the whole tube. So I literally had to read 4 lines or whatever for the tube. Guess who read it wrong? Here's the tube. All going well, fits on my head. Stitches look pretty crisp, if I may say so myself, but I don't know the terminology yet. Let me know down below. I was supposed to switch stitch, like backwards and forwards each stitch, so that when you turn up the brim, it looks the same as the outside. And now it doesn't. And sorry, I just think that looks terrible. I didn't want to frog it. So it's been laying here staring at me for a month. So I put that project down and didn't look back at it. Someday I'll frog it. This just hurt too much to do it immediately. But I did go to the yarn store and buy a knitting book. I think the book is downstairs, and immediately started with the first pattern in the book because it said beginner friendly. It looked pretty simple. It looked like very repetitive. So I went with that. It's a top. I'm going to have to apologize because I'm too lazy to go downstairs and get the book, so I can't show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like. But here is the starting piece. Now I did have to frog this because I made the gauge swatch. It came out perfect. I started knitting, got pretty far, and then had to frog the whole thing because it was way too wide and I would have never been able to wear it. So this is it. This is gonna be the bottom, like that. And it's just gonna be a simple top with like little sleeves like this and just this stripy pattern all the way to the top. So I just wanted to show you that, to show you that I have been putting my newfound knitting skills to good use. With that, I'm gonna close off this video here. I also have decided that knitting is gonna be my hobby. So I'm not gonna be posting my knitting projects unless I really want to, but I'm not going to be knitting to sell pieces. I'm not going to be knitting to post about it. I'm not gonna be knitting to film videos about it. It's gonna be my actual hobby. I'm gonna keep it away from my crochet hobby, which I accidentally turned into a second job. So that is my full relax hobby, and that's my sofa project, the one I can mindlessly do downstairs in the sofa without like feeling guilty that I'm not filming anything or that I'm not making something that's useful for like a con that I'm gonna do or anything. Sorry, Les just called me and I lost track of what I was saying. But yeah, that's not going to be content you're going to see very often anymore because it's my own projects. I'm going to keep it for myself. With that, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I very much enjoyed learning how to knit, and I'm very much enjoying knitting in my free time. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content of myself, then go ahead and subscribe. Subscribing really is the best way you can help my channel. Liking, commenting, and staying to the end also helps a lot. So thank you if you've done any of those things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!